Hey, what's up guys? Grimsy42, and I've got a pretty cool pickup that I want to talk about, and it actually all started with a surprise phone call from my wife. So basically I was on my way to work, and my phone syncs to my car, so I'm jamming away listening to music, and all of a sudden I see on the navigation screen that there's a call from my wife, and it's very odd because she's not one to really talk on the phone, and further than that, we see each other right before I go to work. So I was kind of, curious at what she wanted. And, I'm like, hey, what's up? And she says, do you collect Sega Saturn games? And I'm just like, this is out of nowhere. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, they're hard to find, but if I can find them, I definitely do. And she says, okay, well, the nurse that I work with, she says her husband or fiance, I'm not sure which, I think it's fiance. She said her fiance, actually had some Sega Saturn games. So, instantly I got really excited. You never know, it could be like Panzer Dragoon Saga or, anything. But I'm like, all right, yeah, well, let her know I'm definitely interested and kind of see what he has and, what he's, trying to get for them. So about a day or two goes by and, the information starts to trickle in. And the first thing I heard was there was a bunch of games. Now, this was coming from the fiance, not from the actual owner, but from his fiance. So, sometimes girls don't really understand, unless they're gamers and collectors themselves, what a bunch of games is. So, when I heard that, I'm assuming, 100 games, which for Saturn is like half of the library. So, again, very excited. And then finally, she started actually just texting him. And he started sending pictures of the games that he had. And there was definitely one title in there that I really wanted to get. He had about 15 games total. And after he sent all the pictures, we kind of negotiated a little bit. And because my wife is friends with this guy's fiance, I didn't want to try to lowball him or anything like that. I didn't want to get some kind of super deal. But at the same time, I'm trying to collect the NES games, and I really got to stay in a budget. So I think I made what I thought was a fair offer, and I'll share that with you guys once I show you everything. But anyways, let's get started. The first one is a disc-only Soviet Strike. Next one, it's in a little bit of a banged-up box, but it's this free bonus 3-pack that came when you purchased a Sega Saturn. This was towards the end of the Saturn's life, and it's got all 3 discs in there in their cases, or actually cardboard sleeves. But it's missing one of the manuals. I want to say it's missing the manual to either Virtual Cop or Virtual Fighter. I don't recall offhand. Okay, the rest of these are all in cases, and they are all complete. First one is AMOC. Next one is Blast Chamber. Next one is Crusader, No Remorse. This next one actually looks pretty exciting. It's by Acclaim. It's a shmup. It's Galactic Attack. Next one is Gridrunner. Next is Madden 98. After that, we got Mech Warrior 2. Scud, the Disposable Assassin. This one kind of looks like a decent little action platformer. The whole, it's actually pretty fun. Next one is SimCity 2000. Looks like that case is kind of coming apart there, but Saturn games tend to do that. Next one is Tomb Raider. Wait, 2 in a row now. It's driving me nuts. Okay, and this last one is the main reason that I wanted to pick up the lot. It's definitely a good game, and it's definitely a rare game. And it's in really good shape. Actually, luck of the draw, it's in best shape of all of them, which is very convenient for me. And without further ado, actually, before I show you, the thing that made negotiating for this very scary, if you will, is when we started talking price, the first thing he told me was to check this specific game on eBay. So, unfortunately, if you're not a collector, sometimes when you go on eBay, you'll see those buy it now prices. They're absolutely ridiculous. You know, they're normally like let's say it's a $100 game, the buy it nows will be, you know, 150, 170, because they're trying to take advantage of an impulse buyer who's just looking to add the game to their collection. And unfortunately, people think that's the fair market of the game, when in actuality, I like to say the fair market value of a game is where the game ends on average in auction, because auction reflects a price people are actually willing to pay. And then on top of that, if selling person to person, I like to take 15% off. I mean, you know, eBay's getting 10%, PayPal's getting 3%, and then the other 2% is just to kind of even the number up. You know, you can either say it's for the time that it would take you to list it, or, you know, for dealing with mailing it out or whatever. So traditionally, what I would consider fair market value is the average price of auction listings ended minus 15%. So even considering that, this is a very expensive game. And I negotiated with him, and eventually we came to a price that we both agreed upon. He wasn't super happy to do it, I'll say. I believe his exact quote was, well, my fiance's friends with your wife, so I'll do it, you know? And I kind of felt bad, because I wasn't trying to lowball him at all, and I definitely think it was a fair price. But without further ado, the game is Shining Force 3. And as you can see by the reflective glare, it's in really, really good shape. And it didn't come with styrofoam, but I had an extra, so I tossed it in there just to kind of keep the manual flat. But game is in really good shape. Disc is, you know, almost scratch-free. There's just like a very light scratch on it. But overall, it's a great example, and definitely happy to pick that up. So in total, it was, you know, like I said, like 15 games, counting the Soviet strike, and he asked me to make the initial offer, and I really didn't want to, because I didn't want to go too low and offend him, and at the same time, you know, I wasn't gonna, you know, I didn't really know where he was with it, so I said, did he have a price in mind? And that's always a smart tactic. If you're negotiating with somebody and they tell you to make the offer, let them make the first offer, because if you offer and you offer too low, and you've got competition, like other people trying to communicate with them, like if this is over the phone or over the internet, they may be offended by your offer since you're not right in their face, and they may come off, you know, it may come off as cold. So what they'll basically do then a lot of times is they'll actually turn around and sell it to somebody else out of spite. So I let them make the first offer, because that kind of gives me an idea where they are with their price, and almost every time they're going to overshoot. They're going to go higher than they want to do. So basically, let's just say they say $200. You say 100, you'll meet at 150. So that's something where you're both kind of in the same mentality, where they're saying 200 because they want 150, and you're saying 100 because you think 150 is fair. So that's kind of how that works. It's just a little, you know, a little tip on haggling. But anyways, he said he wanted 150 for everything, and Shining Force goes over 100. I mean, it's about 120, give or take, especially in this condition. And, you know, the rest are just filler titles. But, you know, with 15 games, even $5 a piece, it was a fair price, but it was pretty much what you'd expect to pay on eBay. And I wasn't really in the market for these at the moment. You know, it's nice to pick up Saturn games, but it wasn't really what I was looking for. So I went back and said, you know, listen, right now with my budget, all I can really do is 100. You know, so if that works for you, it'll work for me. And he fired back, like I said, you know, because my fiance's friends with your wife, that would be fine. So basically, I paid for Shining Force, and I got the rest free. So, I mean, in the end, that really works out. It was a fair deal for me. It was a fair deal for him. And it was really nice to add, you know, some more Saturn games to the collection. My collection's not huge. It's probably around 40 games, but it's getting there. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and take care.